5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hello and welcome everyone to Truth, Beer, and Podsequences.
Woohoo!
Woohoo indeed, Julia.
Woo! And woo to you, too?
Woo to you too. No. So this is a podcast where my co-host and I listen to and watch all the Cincinnati-based craft beer media from the previous week. We get together at a podcast host, and today we are back at Higher Gravity Summit Park. That's right, Buck.
It is just a little over a month away from Bachfest.
It's always Bachfest in my heart.
This is true.
Bach season.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to get the Bach.
Get the Bach to the chopper.
Yeah.
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 So, Marco, what you crunching on over there?
Got a hot dick.
Hell yeah. We are dicking it up today.
Oh, Dick's potato chips. Man, these are good.
Oh, that too, yeah.
Holy shit, these are good.
Slap one of those dicks over here on my tongue.
Let's go.
Oh, God. So,
Hang on, they're right here.
yeah.
So,
Ooh, I got a big dick.
Yeah, it's a big dick.
Ooh. That one's coated, too.
Yeah. Oh, big dick.
Nice.
That was a good dick. Ooh.
So we watch and listen to all the Cincinnati-based craft beer podcasts and media from the previous week. Like I said, we're here at Higher Gravity. Thank you, Higher Gravity, for being a gracious podcast host. Now, my name's Marco. I brewed beer here locally for a lot of years. I'm a taproom manager. One of the voices you heard belongs to the best coast in podcast Landia. The other one belongs to the gnarly Gnome. Julia?
I'm Julia. I just drink. I drink all the craft beer.
That's not all you do.
I take a lot of notes that I compare with Marco's notes. I no longer, well, sort of. I still sort of kind of write down Cincy beer events.
Yeah.
We'll figure that one out. And yeah, people need to stop complaining about national parks because it's fucking nature.
What?
I don't think it's the
What?
park they're complaining about. It's the amount of break-ins as they visit the park.
Don't leave
How do you break into a park?
Don't leave your bag containing your passports and your laptops on the back seat of
But
your
that's
car.
after the break-in. Them losing their items or their items being stolen is after the place gets broken in.
Oh, hey,
You good?
I'm the gnome.
Woohoo!
I also drink a lot.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
It's been a few weeks. It's been
Sometimes
a while.
I sometimes put dicks in my mouth. Sometimes I wash it down with beers. I make podcasts every week, no matter what people think.
It's true, you do.
I do. I make a
You do.
podcast at
You do.
least every week.
You do.
Yep. Absolutely.
So the thoughts and opinions on this podcast are ours and ours alone. They do not reflect any entity which we may be affiliated with, such as part-time jobs, full-time jobs, or Higher Gravity. Speaking about Julia and myself, the gnarly Gnome can speak for whoever the hell he wants to. But yeah, Julia and I, this is not speaking for or affiliated with anybody.
All of my thoughts and opinions speak 100% for the West 6th Covington House.
Ooh, all right.
Newest taproom in the city, is that right? I assume?
Yeah.
Gotta be, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe you are correct.
Have you guys been there?
Not yet.
No.
Me either.
No.
I'm gonna go this week, though.
Okay.
Let's get in the truck.
Yeah.
Let's
Get
go.
in the truck.
Oh.
Somebody grab my dicks.
No.
The chips.
Oh, okay.
Bring them
well, that's
with
okay. That's okay.
Bring them. I don't think they have food down there yet. You have to bring your own food.
Oh, gotcha.
Can they do that?
Huh?
No food? They don't have dicks?
They're Kentucky. They can do things
Yeah, I think
differently
you
than
can do all
Ohio
kinds of
can
weird
do.
stuff
Yeah.
down there.
Wow.
Yep. No craft beer podcast would be a good craft beer podcast if we weren't drinking some sort of beverage. Mostly.
Thanks, Julia, because I
craft.
got these dicks.
Marco's mouth is full of dicks, so I have to kind of take over for him. Marco, no, you're still full of dicks. Gnome, are you okay? And now Gnome is full of dicks.
They're so good.
They really are. I am drinking from Tired Hands Brewing Alien Church. It's a New England IPA, very orange juicy, but also very, very pithy.
Tired aliens?
Tired Hands. So like,
Why are they tired?
Because they've been feeding dicks into my mouth for
That's right.
hours. Yeah, so now
Right,
they're
and then we got
tired.
Aliens. You see that? We got a new Alien series coming to TV?
Mm-hmm.
Forget the series on TV. I think aliens are here.
No,
Oh,
yeah,
they've been here.
confirmed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's
They've been-
confirmed.
they've been here.
That's confirmed.
Gnome, what's in your glass?
I got a Bavik, not pills, which is the only Bavik beer that I've had. This is a Super Wit. Super Wit.
What makes it super?
I don't know.
The Cape.
But I had to order it because it's super.
It's super, yeah,
And
that's-
it just kind of tastes like a Belgian Wit to me. It was good. It was
Okay,
fine.
all right. Marco?
I'm having Trogue's Super Nugget Nectar.
Excellent.
But did you just add the super to it?
I did.
Okay. I don't
Yeah.
think you can do that. Just because my beer is super.
Here's the reason why it's super. Is because last week I had Nugget Nectar on the podcast. It was a 12-ounce can.
It's true.
This is a 16-ounce
An ounce
draft
pour.
pour.
You know what? I'll accept that.
I like it. It works. It tracks. All right. Content that we watched and listened to.
Yeah.
This
Well,
Oh, yeah.
what do we do?
Yeah.
Yeah. We actually have a thing that we try to do. Let's make sure that we all try to consume like dicks the same content.
I watched 2 videos this morning with Gordon Ramsay. I think they were like it wasn't kitchen nightmares. It was like hotel nightmares or something.
I've seen several of those.
Yeah, I watched that this morning.
Okay. Did you guys watch Barstool Perspective?
I did.
You know what? I actually didn't.
Oh no!
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah, I'm
we'll
behind.
fill you in. We'll fill you in. Don't worry. Did either of you listen to Blake and Talking with Elijah?
I did.
Let's check your
And
podcast.
listen to that one, yeah.
Gnome, I know for sure that you. Well,
Gonna
you
make an
might not.
assumption.
You might not remember this. The weekly pint from as we're recording this last night.
I remember that one.
You remember
yeah.
that one, Marco? You were a participant, so I,
I was
don't
there.
think I need to clarify.
I
for you.
remember that I was there.
And then one of my favorite pieces of content from this past week, half-ass beer review, even though they did not talk about beer.
Absolutely.
Hell yes.
Yeah, it was good. Good little episode.
And then we have like 16 quick touches that we're going to do
Love a
on
good quick
things
touch.
that,
Yeah,
that don't
a little
really
quick
fall
touch.
into the full recap category.
Quick touch.
Do we? Ooh, God. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Do we want to do the quick touches first, get them out of the way, that way we can kind of settle down into.
I'm about to divorce my wife. Jesus. Marco, slow down.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we're just going to run down the list. These are in no particular order. There's going to be crunching throughout this episode, so if you're not into that kind of thing, too bad, so sad.
Eat a bag. If you're not into it, eat a bag.
Eat a bag. And then you'll understand the crunchery, and it'll be absolutely phenomenal. So I have Blake's Thirsty Thursday on YouTube. He hasn't put one of these out in a while. I happened to see it out there. It is on the Blake the Brewery Explorer channel on YouTube. He was drinking Rheingeist Truth Bomb in a 19.2.
Oh, yeah.
Marco,
Attaboy, Blake.
that is all for Marco there. It was a shorter kind of episode. He talked a bit about his 2024 craft beer panels that he did for his podcast. Talked a bit about Truth Bomb, what he thought about it, and then he's going to try to do some. Misread my notes. He has some virtual podcast episodes coming out soon, which I think he just means like they were done via Zoom,
Yeah.
some other platform instead of him
If he,
being
AI.
if he
signed.
just didn't tell us that they were virtual, most of us wouldn't
probably
know.
wouldn't know. And then he will be back to
Back.
record
Back.
on location soon.
Hopefully, he'll be back.
Back. Yeah. If you're
I'll
not,
be back.
there were multiple.
That's like the theme of the show.
It really is. It really. Tone.
That's what we do, Julia.
Tone, I'm sorry, we're not funny this week. You can just turn this off now. We have a couple episodes of Adam Makes Beer. He did a brew day with Listerman making a West Coast IPA, and he also did a Black Pills brew day with 50 West. They're very long form. They're like an hour and a half long, and they are super technical. It is literally walking through the brew days with these companies. So a little too technical for me. So
It's like nerdcasting.
it is. Yeah, it absolutely is. It has its place. He does a phenomenal job. It just is.
He definitely squarely puts the nerd in beer nerd.
Yes, and then he also had his monthly Q&A.
Right.
That just happened a day or two ago, I
Right.
believe.
Monthly Q&A, yeah. I got through almost all of the the one with Peyton at Listerman, and it was so crazy because it was bringing back all of these memories about all the stuff, all the steps that we would do. And for my brew day, it was almost exactly the way that Peyton's brew day would go.
Were you also brewing with dairy equipment?
No.
Basically. It's not that different.
Kind of, a little bit, a
Yeah.
little bit.
But yeah, almost every step was. Brewing is essentially the same, but just the way that he went about it was almost exactly the way that I would do it. So it was
That's cool.
It was interesting.
That's cool. Craft Parenting Podcast put out an episode where they made 4 non-alcoholic mocktails.
That is a mocktail.
Wasn't
They have
beer-related,
no alcohol
so-
in a mocktail.
Mocking my cocktails.
Anyway, but yes, they made
eat this
4
bag.
mocktails for Dry January. Again, it wasn't really beer related, so that's why we're not going to go over it in depth. But it is out there if that is something that interests you. Show
And you get to watch Caroline muddle a cocktail.
all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a very hands-on show.
Yeah.
This is a show on
Mocktails.
YouTube called The Toxic Show. They used to do some, I say longer form. I think they were still under 20-minute long beer review episodes. The last year, it's all been a bunch of just shorts, so very quick and easy to watch. He did one on Rheingeist Holiday Bubbles. It's like under a minute. He basically pulls it out of the fridge, tastes it, and lets you know what he thinks.
Yeah, he did.
So if you just want a super quick, what did someone
Is
think
this
about this
big
beer?
giant bubbles that I'm seeing? Have you seen this?
No, oh yeah, I have.
The big
I have seen
champagne
it.
bottle bubbles?
Yeah, no, this was just a 12-ounce
Oh,
can.
cool.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
boring.
Disappointing. It's fine. But that is out there. There is a new YouTube channel that we discovered by their business card here at Higher Gravity Summit Park. A YouTube channel called A Couple of Beers. It is 2 local beer lovers, one Cicerone, one certified server. They review beer. They talk about different beers for different holidays and more.
He's the Cicerone that's been doing projects
At
for
NPH.
a while
Yeah,
at NPH.
yeah.
Yeah.
They do beer reviews every Wednesday, it looks like. So next week we should have, if it's local, something of theirs
Alright, I'm
to
interested.
talk about. Yeah, absolutely. And then the last quick touch, the Northeast Ohio Craft Brewery News Facebook channel.
I don't remember
all
that one.
They did a panel about 2024 in craft beer that a lot of people were doing. This one guy
Well, I think I
that-
listened to half of that.
this one guy that wasn't really in North Ohio was on it. I'm not sure why. The Gnarly Gnome
Oh, yeah.
took part in this panel.
Yep.
And all I'm going to say is I still apologize for the brewery that I said I would bring back because the entire show went downhill after that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It got bad. Malort happened.
It got malorted.
Pickle malorted. Like it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that might have worked in like a strange way.
Sounded right in my head.
Yeah, I would have gone. I would have gone down the same road that you did.
Yep.
So definitely check that out. I think they wanted it to be like an hour-ish, and it ended up being like 2 or 2.5 hours.
Usually the way it works.
Pretty much, just like this show. We're like, oh yeah, we're gonna make a 45-minute show every week, and
Nope.
nope.
I don't think
Maybe-
we've hit 45 minutes.
Kolsch nights.
Twice.
Some Kolsch nights, we managed to get under 45 minutes. Not often though.
Yeah.
But those are the quick touches that we had for this week.
Touch.
So now let's get into the full recap. Let's just dig our hand into the bag
All right.
of content to talk about. Do we want to go Barstool Perspective? Do we want to go
Yeah.
Blake's
No,
Craft
that's
Beer
fine.
No, that okay. All right, cool.
Barstool Perspective.
Barstool Perspective from January the 24th, 2025. It is still freaking January.
Yeah.
Why?
How many months is January?
Like
This is
13.
bullshit.
I don't like it. It needs to end.
We're on the way out.
Needs to end. Since they don't title their episodes, I'm just going to start titling them.
I like that.
This one is called Adrenal Glands and
Oh, yeah.
and Heady Stashes.
Yep.
Yes. Producer Dan educated us all on what SKU, S-K-U, means, because no one had any idea. And that's why you need a producer. It's not to ensure that things go live, but when you have questions about things like that,
What is it, like stock keeping unit or something like that?
you hit nail on the head.
Ah,
Yeah.
there we go.
Good job.
Yay.
Good
Nerd.
job.
Nerd.
There are apparently 35,000 craft beer SKUs in the United States. Is that too
I
many?
can name them all.
Okay.
Psychopathy. Truth.
Did you say truth?
Cincy Light.
A juicy
I
truth?
think that's it. Right? That's all I can get.
Truth Bomb. Seeing Colors, that has 3, soon to be 4.
In theory.
In theory, true. Yeah, I think that's it.
Gavel
Well, no,
banger.
it gets different SKUs,
Gavel
right?
banger,
If you have
yeah.
19.2 versus 12 ounce, those are different SKUs.
Yeah, that's true. That is
A lot-
very
lot
true.
of SKUs.
There was a very, very good IPA tangent that they went on from the skew conversation.
It's skewed from the
It's very
com-
good.
Wow.
Very
See what
good.
I did there? 'Cause-
this is
There
why we
we
have
go.
you on the
That's-
show.
That's why somebody was clapping in the background. Did you hear that?
Thank you, yes.
It's not any different from the IPA conversations that we've had in the past about the spectrum of IPA. Are there too many IPA? Like, do we still need 90% of what's called an IPA? Do people even know what an IPA is when they're handed a glass of a beverage?
No.
No, definitely not. Is a pale ale an IPA, depending on where they fall on the spectrum? It was again a very good skewing, as you said, Gnome, of that conversation. They also had a tangent on breweries submitting beers to the wrong competition categories. That got a little heated, and
yeah.
yeah,
I think it's yes.
rightfully so, but at the same time, if the competition ownership, if the people that are putting on these competitions do not care to adhere to the actual style guidelines, but then at the same time, how do you tell?
I think there's a couple of.
I
think there's a couple of weird
things.
tangents there. It's like so.
There's a lot.
Yeah,
There's a lot. So if you got Mad Tree submitting a brown ale and what they're told by feedback from competitions,
Amber into
an amber into an ESB, then they're being told what category they should send it to. If
I don't
you're
have
sending-
as much of an issue with that. Like that
Right.
I get that. Like you can,
But if
an
you're
amber
sending-
is an offshoot of ESB, and like it all kind of fits together.
But if you're sending a lager into a cream ale category,
that's where I've got an
Yeah.
issue.
that's a problem. It's not the same
Yeah.
thing anymore.
Yeah.
I think that part of you entering into that category, you need to say what ingredients are in it. You need to say how it was produced, what yeast it was made with, how it was fermented. All of that should be part of how it's judged, regardless if you can taste it or not. How it's produced should be part of how a beer is judged. And if you make a really great cream ale because it's lagered, I don't know that you should win.
I think you can lager a cream ale. What
Well,
you can't do
yes.
is use lager yeast in a cream ale.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So does
Well,
it?
for a competition, you can do whatever
Sure,
the fuck
sure,
you want
right.
in your own
So-
brew pub.
It shouldn't win the competition. It's not done
so
the right way.
so to the two of you, for a competition,
Maybe
there's-
not.
there's-
I don't, actually, now I'm questioning myself.
there's no gray area. Like there's no how far can they step over this line? Like
Yeah,
it
of
is
course there is.
Very strict. Okay.
That's
okay.
where you start questioning yourself, and then you realize that maybe there should be a competition that just doesn't give two shits about the style guidelines at all,
And it's just
you're
an-
like,
like a
hey,
best
here's what I'm looking for. Make the best beer that gives me that.
Let's see. Then they moved on to cortisol mocktails and social media trends needing to stop.
Boy, does that sound terrible.
You don't want to chew on an adrenal gland?
No.
I don't trust anything that they say about social media trends. I don't
Why-
think either one of them are on social media. Like they're very old.
I don't know.
This is true.
I don't know. Have you seen their best bad beer shorts?
Oh my God, those are
Those are
amazing.
so
They
good.
did
They're
not post
so
those.
good.
What do they call
That's
splitting
true.
the G? What do they call it?
Oh God, was it cutting the G? or
cutting the
something like
G?
that? Yeah, I think so.
I don't trust. I don't trust
This
anything.
is very true. How will the government hiring freezes and changes, such as return to work, affect things like label approvals? Which,
the same way they predicted it did before.
yeah,
It won't.
No.
It doesn't matter. The world just keeps on ticking.
Right.
people find a way to keep doing what they need to do.
Yep.
Rest up.
Producer
no, wait,
Nick
no.
struggling with his knee.
Yeah.
He goes
took-
to
he took
so
an
many
error.
weddings a year, and his like
More or less than Danny.
They're pretty close.
They're pretty close.
They're pretty close.
But
Neck and neck. Yeah.
he gets down to "Smooth Criminal" by Michael Jackson.
he
That's like
doesn't?
his thing,
Yeah.
and he's been doing that Michael Jackson leg kick for like 30 years, and finally his knee just needed to get worked.
See, I
And
thought
so
he
he
just
took-
finally took an arrow to the knee, and that's kind of, we're all
No, it was the
Ow! Who drinks hop water?
I kind of
like,
I kind of like hop water, but it's never available enough for me to like get into it.
Well, and it's expensive. It's one of those, for that price point, like
Yeah.
I'm probably going to look for either, if it's something non-alcoholic, I'm going to look for something that's not a hop water. Now, I will say that the hop teas that I've had, I like those better than hop water because you have...
Where do you find a hop tea?
Hoplark online.
What is that?
It's a website, hoplark.com.
Okay. It's not the website
It's a
I
bird
go
with
to.
really long, spindly legs. I'll
course,
show you
yeah.
during one of our breaks. The hop water, there's not enough... I don't know. To me, I don't want just hops and water. If there's not
No.
alcohol or if there's not
Hops
something else.
themselves are
No.
actually
No. Like,
quite pricey.
hop water
sure.
should not just be hops and water. Like there should be something else in there to balance it out a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's why I
Sodium.
like the hop teas.
Yeah, something.
Those are good. I honestly think that if I'm going to do some sort of non-alcoholic product that I want a beer-ish quality to, I'd rather go for like a hop tea than an NA beer sometimes.
You keep saying hop tea, and like I've just never seen it when I'm out drinking.
Right. I don't know that I've ever seen it outside of Hoplark.
Jason,
Okay.
bring it in. Let's go.
There we go, Jason.
Bring
Order
it-
some
bring it-
Hoplark.
Let's get in the truck.
I don't even know where they make or blend that. Who knows?
Let's go to the internet in
they
the truck.
They went into some weed talk, as they typically do in the shows. Chaotic regulations seem to be the key focal factor of this part of
This
their
isn't any
conversation.
different than we knew
No.
going into 2025.
No.
We knew that it was like the wild, wild west out there. Like some states were one way, a bunch of states are another way.
Mm-hmm.
The federal
Tilray
government
doing?
is one way.
Oh, not good. I looked at
Tilray,
it. Okay. Not good.
Like
my 401k
fucking
is
fuck.
done.
Tilray is down 19.8% this month.
When I looked at it earlier today, it was at like $1.04.
It's at
Please tell me it's above
$1.09.
$1. Okay.
$1.09.
All right. It's gone up for when I looked. So okay. They defined 2025 optimism. Things keep getting worse.
they don't.
They don't know.
Things aren't.
It's hard. There have been a lot of moments so far in 2025 where it is hard to see how things are or will be or can be improving because you're looking at these tiny little slivers, these tiny little chunks. Look as far out as you're able to, and we'll all get through it.
Stick to the world around you.
Mm-hmm.
Help the people around you.
Yes. And
Live your life.
then they're from the can beer review. Trogs Nuck. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nucka.
Yeah.
Nucka tur.
Oh Jesus, that's so terrible. Nugget nectar. I got to be so careful. Holy crap!
That's why Jason put it on tap, because they did a whole from the can beer review.
That's true. Everything that they have done on their front.
You do
the can
always find them
review-
at the bar at higher gravity.
That's
There
right.
you go. Although they kept calling it a double IPA, and I'm like, says
Not,
Imperial Amber
not exactly.
on the can.
Not. Yep.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
What's it say on the can?
An Imperial Amber Ale.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other notes before I get to not only the sip count, but a multiple choice question?
Oh, are we going to get to bring back the D in 2025?
Hell yeah, we are. Oh my God. Do you want sips or multiple choice?
Sips.
I'm going to
first.
need sips, yeah.
Sips,
if
yeah.
that.
Mike took 18.
Okay.
18 sip. Brett took 27.
All right.
All right.
He
yeah.
did
yeah.
excellent. That is a total of 45 countables. That is 90 ounces.
Okay.
So in this 38-minute episode, 5.625 pints of whatever beverage you want to play our drinking game with.
It's like an average weekday.
What is the best porn name in beverages? Mispronouncing Jim Cook, Andrew Molson, or Ron Sachs?
Julia's a D.
Jesus
Oh.
Christ.
That thing.
Marco wins.
That's D.
That is. Oh my God, that is absolutely fantastic. Okay, all right.
Can you put that thing away now?
Yeah.
Yeah, just toss it over here. Hold on.
I'm getting uncomfortable. Okay, so we.
Here.
All right.
How do I get it around these microphones?
I don't know. How did it
Jeez,
tangle
here.
up in the core?
Put this. Just put it on the
It's
floor.
crazy, right?
Put it on the floor.
No, just,
I have to live with it.
do we want to talk about Blake's Craft Beer podcast or the Weekly Pint next?
Let's go, Blake.
Blake,
Let's
yeah,
go, Blake.
Blake.
All right. Episode 47, Cincy Sours with none other than Elijah Moreland,
Yeah.
Yeah.
good friend of all of our shows.
Yeah.
If you want to hear more from Elijah, listen to Cincy Brewcast Volume 9, Episode 22.
Or go to Missing Link Day and listen to his Sasquatch call.
Yes.
That tells you everything you need to know.
Or listen to Craft Parenting Podcast episodes 188 and 189. He talked about how he got into beer, why he got into sours. And I thought that it was interesting. The reason that he stated he got into sours was because they matched his villainous personality so much better than any other style of beer.
Yeah. So, I mean, for those of you who followed the pod a long time, you already know this story. But, I mean, for those of you who haven't or are new, Elijah Moreland has a very curious mustache.
And a distinct set of skills.
And a distinct set of skills.
Which we talk about in depth in our bonus episode 103.5
That's right.
with
And so
Snidely Whiplash.
We
That's
proved
correct.
it live.
We proved it live. Yeah,
we
it was
proved it. Yes,
it
we proved it
was-
live.
the realizations as we kept walking through like his social media to trying to find his phone number to trying to call him. It was terrifying.
Basically,
how close we have
he's a Bond villain.
been. Yeah.
From
Yeah.
actually
Yes.
before James Bond was a thing.
Yes. Again, Snidely Whiplash.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
he is that villain. He talks about the difference between sours and lambics and gozas, how different acids such as lactic acid can make either a good or a bad sour. He got, I don't want to say like super technical, super in the weeds with it, but he gave very good, clear definitions and defining characteristics of these different types of, as a lot of people call them, sour.
Can we go down that
beers.
rabbit hole a little bit?
Absolutely.
Because I've had some unintentional sours in my life that have been some of my favorite beers in the world. And then I've had some very intentional sours
R.I.P. Rivertown.
in my life that were not great.
No. No.
And I'm curious.
R.I.P. Rivertown.
No, neither of those are Rivertown examples.
be. No.
They could have been, but
Could
like
have been.
they're not.
Yes.
I was a huge fan of what Rivertown.
We got 2
did.
6-packs of Elijah's homebrew ready to go
I know.
at home. We
How
just
do you
need
guys? How do you guys feel about that? Like somebody that is, we'll say a home brewer, not Elijah. We'll say there's a home brewer that brings you a beer that he was like, hey man, I made this this red ale, and he hands it to you, and it's sour and it's delicious. It's amazing. It's one of the most amazing like sour beers that you've ever had in your life.
But you know that
versus-
that's not what it was intended to be.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? Like, is it really wrong, or is it? 'cause-
I think
at some point in history, the people that were making these traditional sour beers that are like world renowned at this point, they weren't supposed to be
they weren't
sour.
supposed to
It
be.
was not
They-
intentional.
They were
It
not
just
supposed
was
to
the
be
way-
sour. It's just
all unintentional.
Well, and some of the figureheads in craft beer that make craft beer happen, when sour is not a thing, it should not be a thing. I'm going to do everything I can and build
Right.
everything I can to make sure that beer does not go sour.
Which is I
Which
don't
is fine.
I don't
Right, no,
have
no,
an
no,
issue
right,
with
right,
that.
right.
If you don't want your beer to be sour and you don't make it sour, that's fine.
So is kind of your question, like, do you let them know, hey, this
Do you
is
think
like-
it lessens a beer if it's unintentionally sour and delicious versus intentionally sour?
No, I don't.
I go ahead, Julie.
I don't think it lessens the beer at all, because I think that just exposed this brand new potential for this beer and what it can be if it's made again in that same way and you get those same results.
Right.
Just because it's unintentional and it's not what was, air quotes, supposed to happen with the beer, doesn't make that end product any less just because it's not what it was intended to be. Now, would the brewer, home brewer, or otherwise, would they see it that same way? That's all in their mentality.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that maybe that person is super pissed. Like, yeah, I know that this ended up being a great sour, but God damn it, I wanted to make this red ale. That's not what I wanted.
Sure.
versus just a drinker going, oh, holy crap, I know this isn't what you intended, but look at this. So no, I don't think it's, I just think it unintentionally showcased just the absolute brilliance of what this process can create, even if it's not what you meant it to be.
No.
I very much agree. I think that it's great and terrible at the same time for both home brewers and professional brewers. I think if the beer turns out great, it's great. What the brewers, home brewer or professional, what they should say is, this was not the intention. I have a problem. We need to figure this out. Sure. Now, can I go back? Can I, number one, fix the problem? Can I, number two, recreate it after the problem's been fixed?
Gotcha.
And the other thing is, if you're commercial, how you put it out to the public matters. And I think some places can botch that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that becomes an old tale of how you try to pull the wool over someone's eyes versus calculating how you put it out with a curated story of how this came to be.
So, Mark, going back to something you said, you unintentionally make, say, a sour. You wanted a red ale, and something happened. It's now a sour. Do you think that it's better to say, hey, we're releasing this red sour? We'll just kind of keep using that theme.
Yeah.
And release it as a, hey, we were trying to make a red ale. It ended up being this. It's really good. You should try it. But we are addressing what caused this to be a sour instead of an ale? Or do you just say, hey, we're releasing a red sour, and you don't indicate that you had other intentions
I would never,
for that beer?
I would keep in-house.
Honesty?
I would keep in-house, if we soured a beer, I would keep in-house that our processes and procedures, something along the line, or the equipment failed. I would keep that in-house. I would never release that until I knew everything was clean.
Okay.
And then I would release clean beer. I would keep the sour beer to the side and even decide whether it's even safe to put in any proper packaging.
Sure. I think that if assuming that you had come to the conclusion that it was safe to package it somehow and serve it to people.
Right. Like my question was based on the assumption you'd already made sure.
Yeah.
Like,
once
this is
once you
okay.
know your brew house is clean, everything is safe for beer going forward. You're still making good, clean beer.
Yeah. Do you say that this wasn't as intended?
I may not name it in a way that lets people know that you screwed up, but there would definitely be a conversation in like the description and in what you're telling people over the bar. 100%. Like, look, like we screwed up. And here's what science and the world around us did. Like here's what the magic of this stuff that we're doing can create.
Yeah, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. It was more literally a curiosity.
I love stuff.
What do you? Oh, so do I. Like, hey, we
made this on accident. We don't know how it happened, and it is so good that we wanted to share it with you.
We thought we were putting.
It's never going to happen again.
This. It turned out to be
we can't
nutmeg.
replicate it.
Sure.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. And again, once you verify the safety, the cleanliness, all
magic.
of that.
It's the magic that got people consumed with beer from the beginning. And they put a pot of gruel out the doorstep before they went to bed, and they woke up in the morning and
ate some and it got
something happened. And it was magic.
If you can backtrack and understand the reason why your beer turned, then it's easier to put out a story. Hey, we made this Imperial Red Ale that we were intending on releasing around Christmas. We grabbed some, really funky staves from our favorite distillery that had this and this and this, or was aged with this. Turns out those staves had some, really funky properties and turned the beer into something that we had no intention of turning it into, but it's amazing.
Yeah.
And then, spinning it as, we know what it was, we know what we're doing, everything's clean, but this beer is unique unto its own, and here it is.
Yeah.
I think if you can't track it down and you're like, hey, man, like we've tried to figure out where exactly this came from, we don't know. but it's so good that we had to share it with you. I still think it's okay.
But the other thing is if it's toilet water, it needs to go down the
no,
drain.
if it doesn't taste good, dump it.
Right. Yeah, I'm not saying like
And tell nobody.
Yeah.
No, you can still tell people, like, hey, we had to dump stuff because it didn't taste good. That's okay.
All right, getting back to this episode of Blake's Craft Beer Podcast, from the different sours conversation, they shifted to barley wine and how Elijah got into barley wines. Mm-hmm. Then he started talking about home brews and how Brett from Urban Artifacts talk at Missing Link Fest really helped Elijah to say, I want to try to make a beer with this missing link yeast. So he kind of dove into a lot of that. He would like to get a BJCP judging certificate, but he has like a whole shit ton of stuff in life that, like hosting the most amazing trivia nights ever. How can he spend time getting a certificate when he has trivia?
I'll give him a
questions to ask,
certificate.
you know?
That's fine.
That's
I'll print him one.
okay, cool. Well, see, there you go, Elijah. You have your certificate coming up in a week or two, we'll just say. Let's see, what else is there? Blake asked Elijah, like he asked a lot of his guests, what are some of the things you like and dislike about the current state of craft beer? Elijah dislikes places clothing?
That's what you said.
Sure.
Yep.
He dislikes places closing and smoothie sours. He is glad that trend is, I don't want to say on the way out because they're still being made in places like Fabled makes some absolutely spectacular
it's
ones.
not hyped in
but
the
it's
same
not
way, yeah.
exactly. He gave a whole list of breweries to check out if you're driving out to Maine. So if you are planning a
Note to
trip
self.
out to the East Coast, listen to this episode.
For all of you who are driving to Maine this week.
Exactly. And he exposed how the Cincy Sours social media accounts got started. It was pressure from you, Gnome. You said you need
That's what I do.
to put
So
this
it's an
out there.
expose.
Absolutely. And those are all the notes that I had. Do you guys
That's
have
all I
anything
had.
else? Okay.
No,
Check.
that's all I had.
I have a multiple choice question.
That's all my notes.
Ah, yes.
And then we should take a break.
Yes.
Yes. All right, multiple choice question. What does Elijah have that's nearing its end of life?
A cheeseburger from McDonald's from 1985.
That is a very possible option. The three choices I had written down.
Oh, okay.
His own yeast strain, a barrel, or his bloatarian membership.
Ah, Julia's a D.
God, I thought we
Whoa.
put that thing away.
His
back.
his canister of beard wax.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. Although that mustache and like the grooming, I would think that he would just go through those so fast, they wouldn't have time to hit end of life. Oh,
Unless
although
it's really big.
Yeah, that's true.
You're like,
They'll always be too big.
That's, okay, yeah, it can always be.
does he have to
Nobody?
use a curler for those?
Yeah, he's got like a special tool.
Oh my gosh!
He's got a tool.
Yeah.
All right, before we get too far down
Nobody?
Elijah's tools, no.
Hey now.
Let's take a break, and then we will come back to talk about the weekly pint and half-ass beer review, where they don't talk about beer.
That's very half-assed.
Nice.
It is full ass. All right,
It's all the ass.
We'll be
right back with all the ass.
Full ass
be
beer review.
right back. Have you all calmed down?
What?
No.
What? Come on.
No.
Just getting fired up.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, 2 more shows to go. So
Okay.
we will see how. We're not going to keep this on track. I don't know why I'm trying to kid myself.
No.
There's a track?
Shit. You can't really see it. We kicked a whole bunch of dust and dirt and debris
That
and
explains
just
it.
bullshit all over
Yeah.
it. But you know,
Dicks.
it used to be there.
Dicks all over the
Dicks
track.
all over- that sounds painful.
No, see, they're potato chips.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
it doesn't actually
okay.
hurt you.
Yeah, I always kind of miss the mark on that one.
What do you... Oh. Eat it back. What? Make dicks get bigger. Oh, my God, you guys. This is...
They're an amazing potato
my
chip.
God.
They're great potato
exactly.
chips.
Exactly.
You guys would not believe what I just realized about these potato chips.
What? What's that?
It's all double entendres.
All double into
Everything. Dicks. Hot and spicy dicks. Eat a bag. You can make dicks get bigger.
Do we want to talk about Weekly Pint?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go.
Episode 246, because I am counting the episode that may or may not be lost to time forever.
I counted it, but there's 2 of them that were very
True.
spotty.
Yeah.
They
One I am
technically on my
very
end, they exist as like 9 episodes, but I count each one of them as their own one episode.
All right. This is How in the World Have I Missed This for So Long?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Once again, no schnapps to be found for the beginning of the episode, but I think
There were schnapps to be found, but it's the same
well,
schnapps.
yes, that's true. It's
Out
not
of
a
schnapps
different
right
schnapp.
now.
Yes, you're out of new schnapps.
Schnapps in it.
I'm going schnapp-shing.
Yes.
Schnapping.
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 Yeah,
I
schnapping.
think this week.
Oh, speaking of that, we kind of went shopping for new beverages to be drinking.
Nobody
to
has
enjoy.
schnapps. It's not schnapping if you don't
No.
get schnapps.
It's good.
Jason is or Jason from HG. Is there schnapps here? I don't know if I've ever
think
seen
so.
some
I don't think
schnapps
so.
here.
Butterscotch schnapps or something.
That does not
I don't
count.
think. I don't think.
Although,
that's here. I don't
if
know.
the way the Weekly Pint keeps working,
Eventually
with
you'll
the
get
schnapps,
there,
I
yeah.
might have to go that route
Yeah.
and drink some terrible American schnapps. That'd be funny.
What do we all have in our glasses right now, Marco?
I have IPA from shit.
Can or draft?
It's a can. The 16-ounce can of oh shit.
I didn't see what you
I have
picked
it
up,
all the
so
time.
I-
No, I have it all the time.
Truth.
It's from
Psychopathy.
No. It's from like up north, Columbus.
Masthead, just
Masthead.
IPA. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was
so just
Masthead
Masthead
IPA.
IPA.
Yeah,
There we
yeah.
go. All right. Gnome.
Rothouse pills.
Very nice. And I am drinking Jerry from BC's.
I was gonna have a different 16-ounce can of IPA, but Street Size was $2 more than this one.
$2 more for a can.
And then another one I was going to pick up was $2 more than that one.
What?
It was like $4 more for an IPA. What are you putting in there?
Wow. All right, so back to the Weekly Pint.
Slap the cheek.
There was no schnapps. You talked about your trip to Woodstone Creek Distillery and winery, or is it just distillery? They make all kinds of
Winery
things.
and distillery,
Winery and distillery, and meadery, according to their website. Yes.
Which is, I guess,
Yeah,
brewing.
it's-
What does that fall under?
Is mead winemaking, or because I mean
It's winemaking.
Is it really considered
You
wine?
can't make wine. You can't make mead without a wine license.
okay.
That's bullshit.
Okay.
You cannot.
I guess
make
because it's
mead
not malt.
without a wine license.
But it's not made from fruit.
No,
I don't like these laws.
it's not made from.
Interesting.
It's not made from malt.
It's not made from fruit.
I don't know. I've got nothing. I was trying to get.
What
somewhere with
happens
that
if you
image.
just like take maple syrup and ferment it like mead? What does that do?
I don't know.
I don't know. Let's
What
do
about
it.
what about sap?
You've never tried it?
No.
like sap before it turns into syrup.
Well, you say no like that's a crazy idea. Somebody's
yeah,
done that.
Yeah, someone has to have done
someone's-
that.
Everybody's
For sure.
fermented everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody Google that.
Someone,
I actually
someone
think
get
the
on
sh-
that. A producer.
The sugar
Who's our
content
producer?
might be too high to ferment out. Like you might need.
I don't need
that
to.
a-
I don't
You
need
might
to
need
ferment completely. It could be like 3%, and I'm still fine with it. I just want to try it.
Yeah.
He has to have tried it.
Let us know, because
He
now
did
I'm
have.
curious.
He did have a wine that was made with maple syrup that was delicious.
Okay.
I didn't even talk about it on the show. It was really
You did
good.
not. No.
It's really good.
No, you only talked about what you were drinking, which was dandelion.
Dandelion wine.
which was the most beautiful color.
Oh, it was
It
great.
was the color of
good.
dandelions and just.
And
looked
Brett on
fantastic.
the previous episode that we just covered said he's made dandelion wine and it was terrible.
Yeah.
So Brett
I
made
just-
terrible dandelion
I
wine.
think he used the roots of the dandelion plant.
Ah, okay.
I've always heard you have to use just the flower.
Just the flower.
And as little of the actual stem and all of that as possible. Just the flower. Like just the petals almost. But like, I've been collecting them for a very long time to make a batch. And one of these days I will. I just like in my head, and I know I talked about it on the show, there's this beer up at Branch and Bone that's called Visage. That just as soon as you like open up the bottle, the whole room just smells like fresh dandelions, and it smells like the spring. And like I want that.
That sounds
all the
wonderful.
time.
That
It
sounds
is
amazing.
So good, and they like people kind of the way that Fibonacci does the mulberry thing, where people bring them in from all over. That's what they do. They just everybody brings their little dandelions into the brewery. And
So what I'm going to say is this spring, let's get in the truck and go.
Yeah.
up to
Get in the
Branch and Bone
truck.
Go.
and get some.
Yeah.
Of
We
that
need to do
beer.
more shuffling around a little bit this year, Julia.
Okay, I'm down for that.
Okay.
Down for that. Christine doesn't drink cocktails unless they contain eggnog, which
Yes.
you were
That's where you were
very
going.
concerned about.
Yeah,
You're
no,
going,
eggnog.
how- But what I'm wondering
Eggnog
is,
is barf.
is the eggnog that she uses in her cocktails, is it already spiked, Or is it just like a base
To me,
non-alcoholic eggnog
eggnog
and cheese?
is a cocktail.
Right. Like that's my thought too. So, Christine, we need to have an entire conversation about making cocktails using eggnog as an ingredient and
Eggnog's
not
great.
Somebody-
eggnog
Here's
being
what I
their
want to do.
own.
I
Didn't
want to
somebody
have
mention an
booze
eggnog-
with
eggnog-
pancake syrup.
Eggnog martini. Didn't somebody say something
I
about
think
that?
so. Yeah. We
Not
can-
pancake syrup, pancake batter. It was like, bleh.
Let's see. You were after you had the dandelion wine. You drank Northern Rose Amber Lager, which is also their Oktoberfest, which is
Meanwhile-
also their Märzen. Blah, 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 blah.
Martin.
Marzen.
Märzen.
Mertzen.
So, Matt Damaris, Bruce Traveler, we need you to tell us the proper pronunciation of Martzen, because none of us
There's-
are saying it the same.
It's just MAR.
M-A-R. Oh,
Z-E-N.
shit. Yeah, Marzen. See, I don't even know how to spell it.
Got an extra T.
Yeah, you know, I always add a little extra to whatever I'm doing.
That's cool.
Sure, why not?
I think he would call it a Marzen. Marzen. I believe. would be-
Marzine.
No, it'd just be
Let's
Marzen.
grab some and go to the
Marzen.
party tree.
Party tree.
Go to the party.
I
Yeah,
bet I
let's
bet I
do
could
it.
find the
Let's
party
do
tree
it.
this time of year.
All right.
Without the
Let's do
leaves
it.
and stuff. I bet I could find it.
Oh, let's go.
Let's do it. Let's do
Get
it.
in
Get
the
the truck. You brought out some somewhat negative energy
Ooh.
about a local store
Mm-hmm.
and just the lack of caring about the beer selection
Mm-hmm.
like there used to be, and it's a different time, and you
It's not
have
a
to
different
focus.
time.
It's the people working have different priorities in some of these places.
Bullshit.
So the moral of your negativeness.
It's not negative. I'm being positive about what I want from beer.
Well, what came out of that was buy your beer from places where they care about the beer as well.
Yeah.
If you're buying from somewhere to where if you ask, hey, something as simple as, do you know the price of this beer? And they're like, I don't know, don't
But
care.
I think that's the same conversation we've been having for almost a year about our
Sure.
biggest grocery retailer in the region.
Yeah.
You know, is
Yeah.
basically we're saying
Meyer.
they have
IGA.
They
Fuck 'em.
have consciously cut and
Save a lot.
and
Piggly wiggly.
increased space and
Thriftway.
Publix.
for, you know, things like non-alcoholic beer and all these other different segments or categories, and they have eliminated offerings from
CVS.
places that we love. That's no different than this other place. Maybe the
Sunoco.
place that you were shopping at has these offerings. However, what they don't have is the care, and that's what
The difference to me, and I see where your mind is on this. The difference for me is that this is a store, and I'm not gonna name names because
no,
I
and
still
we're not, no.
still love to shop there. Where else can you buy a pig's head when you want a pig's head?
Right.
I love the store. I
Yeah.
still will do all of my grocery shopping
Julia
there.
Pig's Head,
But
Super Bowl week, right?
This was a
Pig's
place
Head.
that locally was one
Is
of the
that
places
Liam or Leon?
that birthed the craft beer retailing market in the city.
Very fair.
They were right on the top of it when it didn't exist. They were one of the places you could go to and get beer that you couldn't get anywhere else. They were at the forefront of it.
And there's still beer there from that day today.
Yes, that's the frustration. And like I get that there are places that
Don't know why you have a bottle of beer or several bottles of beer from 1999 on your shelf.
Dude, do they sell Rivertown on the shelves?
They do not, but I did see somebody posted in one of the groups in the last month or so that there was a place down in like Florida
Yeah,
or
I saw
Georgia or
that.
something that
That
had
had
some
some.
Ojos Negros on the shelf. That man, I want that. I drank a
No
bottle
kidding.
of the
No
Lambic
kidding.
in January.
But
the
my
beginning of
point-
January.
my
Man,
point is that-
so good.
We knew that Kroger didn't have somebody locally that gave a shit. They went
True.
corporately and didn't give a shit. And we knew that a couple of stores locally gave a shit
Yeah.
and had a gigantic selection. And now, unfortunately, what's happening is, you know, the tone has changed and the way that they care has changed. I'm not
Not
gonna
the same thing.
I'm not going to say that
It's not
they
the
don't
same
give a
thing.
shit. I'm saying that they don't care the same way.
But you're talking about a huge like national corporation versus a place that has 2 stores
Yeah.
that only exist here in Cincinnati.
Well, it's a good thing we're not
Beer City,
mentioning who they
USA.
are. Yeah.
Like, it's different. It's
but
not,
they still don't care the same way. They don't care the same way that they used to.
They should. That's the difference.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
There is a part of me that understands why Kroger doesn't, and I don't need Kroger to do it.
But they were trying because they saw, or they
saw money.
They
the only reason they were
yes.
doing it. They saw
and they were putting
money.
in bars, and they were putting in draft systems, and they were putting in all this shit, and they're ripping it all out. And then what they're doing is they're replacing it with liquor
Cheese.
stores.
I was gonna say more cheese.
Fucking olives that you can like scoop like. Wait a minute.
Who needs an olive bar?
Nobody's buying this craft beer shit anymore, but you know what you want? Like 7 to 10 different olives. Like, no, that's not what we fucking want. Like, what are you doing with all these fucking olives and, your pinwheels that you pre-make and shit? No.
But I don't
put
expect-
out a better beer selection.
I don't
God
expect-
Damn it. You're throwing, are you putting out olives just because you could put them back in a container and put them out, for fucking years?
Like pickles. Do
Do you know that when you open that jar
don't
of
bring
olives,
pickles into this. Pickles are awesome.
Yes, they are.
do you know
My
when you
bad.
open that jar of olives, most of them say are only good for 8 days after you open that fucking jar?
That's bullshit.
So-
They're good. They're good for a long time.
Well,
3 years.
yeah.
I don't. It's not surprising to me though that that's Kroger.
So going back to you being upset at the grocery store, I only had one question about that story.
Mm-hmm.
How pissed off were the people behind you in line?
There were
you were
other like little
Okay,
checkouts
so
open.
no
So
one-
it
I would
was
no one
fine.
had-
I
It
would
was
imagine what would happen is people would see that he's the guy that's holding shit up,
And be like-
and they just go to other lines.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
Like
fair.
this motherfucker right here, and they just go to other
No,
lines.
the whole time I just went, and I'm looking at the people, and I'm pointing at the cashier, and I'm like, what's going on?
What's
Like,
happening? Can you believe what's happening?
Can you believe
Are
this?
All right, those are all the notes that I had for this episode of the Weekly Pint. Did either of you have anything else before the sip and sniff count?
I think we stretched this out enough.
There were 23 sniffs.
Okay.
You were doing a lot of inhaling
Coke.
of it.
The problem is every time I sniff, then I get a thought.
Yeah, and then you have to check it out. Yes.
Yeah.
And then only 5 total
Oh, Jesus.
sips.
That's
It's
embarrassing.
fine. But with the sniffs, that's a total of 28 countables.
That's still embarrassing.
Which is
And then
56
you would threaten
ounces.
to drink so many times, and then just wouldn't
Get
drink.
a
my
thought.
God.
I'll get a thought.
Or like it would be so
It's like,
close. Like,
all
the
right,
liquid
now
was.
I am gonna drink now. I am gonna drink, and then no,
But
but
you
you
know
know what?
what?
But you know what?
It's really hard,
Yeah.
you guys.
So that is 56
I think that's on
countables,
purpose.
3.5 pints. So not bad, not
Not
bad.
not bad.
And then the multiple choice question for this
Julie's multiples.
episode. Is Gnome a Marvel or a DC guy?
Yeah.
Good question.
Is it A, Marvel? Is it B, DC? Or is it C, it's impolite to pick a side?
We're going to test Marco's comic book knowledge. Can he name another comic book company?
His nerdery. Which I can.
I cannot.
Well, they're a publisher. It's not necessarily like its own universe, but they do one major or one main kind of
Ooh,
universe-ish thread. So.
Julie's a D.
Oh,
jeez.
Jesus.
Was that fake news? The New York Post fake news, New York Post place, or the anywhere of those maybe.
Okay.
All right. Are we still good to continue with the last show we have to talk about today? Looks
Absolutely.
like. All
I'm
right.
good.
We have a full-ass review to do of half-ass
whole
beer
ass?
review. Yes.
It is
A whole ass
ass.
review of half-ass beer review.
A whole
ass
and
review
a lot
of
of
a bunch of
dicks.
dicks.
Yes. This was, as I said in the beginning of our episode, my absolute favorite piece of content this week. I watched it, I think, 3 times and was cracking up every single time. Like, it never got any less funny. Even though I knew what was coming from from Tone and Josh of Half-Ass Beer Review. The Dick's Potato Chip Review. This is not about beer, and it was.
It was also.
spectacular.
This needs to be said. This was not like a sponsored episode
no.
from them. This was not some kind of like commercial for dicks.
Marco
this was
didn't-
them just getting dicks and
Yes.
wanting to talk about them.
Yes, like we did not, and I hope that they know this. I don't think Marco or I ever actually said to them that the beers and the dicks that we gave them, we never had any intent like, oh, we're giving these to you for you to make content out of. It was just we enjoy these things. We want to share this with you.
think,
and then whatever they do with them, right.
That was exactly it.
But I don't want
we had a
anyone
great
to
time.
assume, oh my God.
Yeah, we had a great time at Sonder.
Yes,
and what happened was I knew that you had a care package of beer.
Sure. Yeah.
And I was at home and I was like, man, I really want to take them something. And
I'm giving them dicks.
I'm
giving them dicks that I already opened and ate some of.
So the real reason the hot dicks were open was because Marco had to steal a few before he handed the bag over to you guys.
I licked everyone.
They're so good.
This was about a 12.5-minute long review, which apparently is just minuscule compared to the entire recording that they might have done. This is longer than some of their beer reviews.
Yeah.
Which is
they reviewed 3 different kinds of dicks, so it's like recording 3 different beers.
This is true. This is very true. Very, very true. They tried all 3 current flavors of dicks. That's all I'm going to say on that, because on the website there are like in development flavors. And we know that
I need pickle dicks is what I really need.
Oh, that would
pickle
be
dicks is like the one thing that I'm craving.
I want ranch dicks.
Ranch dicks are fine.
I think ranch
pickle
dicks would be good. Pickle dicks would be absolutely spectacular too. I would take that as well. But we all know that the reason that some of the new flavors take a while is Jason really wants them to be done right.
Right.
Like he had let us know that the hot and spicy were coming when we talked to him, however long ago that was, and when they were finally out,
it was
we're like,
months ahead of time.
Yeah. He's like, it's just still not right. I want it to be right. And holy shit, like whatever he is working on, because I'm sure that he's not stopping with 3 flavors.
No, he's always got some kind of new dicks in his mouth.
Right. No kidding. No kidding.
Always shoving new dicks in his mouth.
No kidding. I don't think it needs to be said again, but this episode was fucking hilarious. They were using Miller Genuine Draft as a palate cleanser between the chips.
That's fine.
Now, I will say I'm kind of interested to see what you guys think about the order, the flavor order in which they tried the chips.
they knew they messed up when they started.
Yeah, would you guys have done it in a different order? Or do you think it was okay? Do you think it worked out?
If I'm like sitting down, I'm like, I'm going to eat 3 bags of dicks tonight. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go one of each flavor. That's the exact same order that I'm eating them in.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
100%. I can't see a bag of hot dicks and not go there first. And I think that the other flavors are strong enough that they can kind of play with hot dicks.
I do think that regardless of the start and the starter and the finisher for their dick journey, I did like that they kept the salty in the middle. It's kind of that extra okay, let's kind of tamper down what's already going on in our mouths.
It wound up working out really, really well.
It did. I mean, it even led to both of them putting multiple dicks in their mouths at the same time.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Was
got to sandwich the dicks.
Yeah.
Always.
Yep.
Always. When don't you? Have you ever done all 3 at once? Have you ever done 3 dicks at once?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I've
I
done
was
3
going to say.
at once.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
What's the most you've done at
Have you
once?
not?
No, I've done 2 dicks.
Okay.
I haven't.
You've done 3?
I haven't done 3.
I've done 3.
Yeah, I've done 3.
2's better than 3.
I would
Three's
agree.
too much.
3's a little.
Three's too much.
That's incredibly intense. That's one of those like you've got to focus, otherwise.
There's just too much going on.
Yeah, there absolutely is.
2 dicks is like 2 dicks is good. I still like 1 dick at a time.
Yeah, you get to really savor it. Mm-hmm. You really get to savor it. And I think that they came to that same determination.
Yeah, I think so. That's the way to do it. I mean, you can be fun and experiment. You could go crazy and go all the way out to 3. You can come back to 2.
It's fun. It's fun to play around.
It's fun to play around. But I mean, really, you come back to the classic. I mean, 1 dick. At a time.
Right.
Just pick your spots. It could be all 3 in the same day.
Right, exactly. You
no. Don't get me wrong. You don't need to
session.
just pick 1 dick. Like you can. Sometimes I want this dick, hot dick.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want a salty dick. You don't have to pick
kind of a
1 dick to be your dick.
But
at a time,
enjoying them one at a time is
give them the proper attention they deserve.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I thought it was incredibly impressive, and I have not had the chips that they have up in Michigan. So I have absolutely nothing to compare
made right
to. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Are those similar to like our?
They're made
Rippos
fine.
Kind of.
No, they're made fine.
They're made fine.
Are those also?
Okay.
So Tone and Josh were incredibly impressed with the girth of these chips.
With the girth and the ribs and ridges.
Yes. And I mean they are ribbed and have ridges for your pleasure. It
Yes.
really
Yeah.
is all about
No,
making sure that your sensation,
so
your
important.
sensory experience with
So
them
important
is
in the whole-
everything.
the whole
it holds
process.
the most flavor in all the
Yep.
grooves. I mean, you just absolutely fantastic.
They are.
So are the Materite chips, are those thicker like Dicks, or are they?
I've never
like,
had them. I'm familiar
you're
with
just
them. Yeah.
Okay. So Tone and Josh, let us know, are the quintessential Michigan chips, are those thick and ridged like Dicks? Or are they, I don't know if you guys have ever had Grippos, but are they like a thinner kind of kettle fried chip? Because those are two different experiences right there.
for
not,
sure.
not saying that,
Yeah.
that girth and thickness is everything,
I like
but
thickness.
man, you need to make sure like you can dip Dicks into anything. Like it will just scoop into whatever creamy, yes.
Dip or sandwich.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to throw this
yeah.
out there.
Okay.
If you get yourself a big salami, like a good tubular meat,
yeah.
cut off some thick slices of it,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
put it with a dick.
Oh.
It's fantastic. Like
That
a
sounds
good
amazing.
piece of salami with a a
girthy
barbecue
dick?
A barbecue dick. Yeah.
That sounds
Yeah.
absolutely
it's
amazing.
pretty good.
It's pretty damn
Nice.
good. That sounds excellent.
Do either of you have a favorite moment from this episode? Because I have one that sticks out in my head
I don't off the top of my head, but
that always makes the 3 times that I've watched
I mean,
this made me giggle.
the
every
easy
single
answer is
time.
the first time that the dicks met their lips. Like that's
yeah,
always
that's
pretty good.
always
Like,
yeah. I liked the kind of aside. You can order Dicks.
That's right.
Like when Tone's like,
Well,
wait a
when-
second,
and he
can,
goes-
we can order these.
He
We can-
goes,
we-
you can make dicks grow bigger.
Oh yeah.
when they were reading the bag, yes.
As soon as they read that on the
and they're
bag.
like, "Oh my god!" And then I
That's
really
when
think
it
that's
all
when they got
connected
it. Yes,
that they were not making the joke. They were now getting in on the joke.
absolutely,
You
and
can make dicks get bigger right there.
yep, eat a bag.
Eat a bag.
Eat a bag of Dicks. They are the perfect potato chip.
Yeah, they are.
I am so happy that we got a chance to share them with the newest friends that we have in this wild and crazy
yeah,
world.
It was fun. It was great. I'm glad they liked them as much as we do.
Yeah. They do not rate potato chips on their channel.
They don't.
But if they did, watch this 12.5-minute episode and find out what they thought about multiple Dicks
Yeah.
all in the same night. Not all at once. They doubled up. They didn't triple up. But I mean, hey, next time, hopefully.
They were responsible.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, they
Yeah.
were making sure that they could handle everything that was
Yeah. Sure.
coming at them.
Yeah.
Yes. I did not. I was wondering. I'm like, I don't know if I can really do a count for this, even though they had Miller Genuine Draft. But I realized
count.
I can do a sip and chip count.
There we go. Let's go.
Okay.
How many sips? How many chips did they eat?
Okay.
How many dicks did they put in their mouth? So I have a count and I have a multiple choice question because that's how we're doing
we have the
things
multiple.
this week.
Oh.
Yes. In this episode of Half-Ass Beer Review, Dick's Potato Chips Review, they took 11 sips of Miller Genuine Draft.
Okay.
Okay.
They didn't feel the need to cleanse
22
the palate
ounces,
as often because they were enjoying the dicks in their mouth so
They
much. They're
loved
like,
them.
Yep.
we don't need to wash this flavor out of our mouth. We don't need to cleanse our palates.
That's right.
We want this to linger. We want
Yeah.
this to just stick to
Oh,
every
so
bit
tasty.
of our mouths.
They're like, once it hits your lips.
So that was the sips. Now onto the chips. I was able to count, and I tried to get when they were doubling up as well. But,
Oh, good job.
But
Ooh.
some of the visuals,
okay.
it wasn't super clear. I
Julia,
did my
that's why
best.
you're the best
That's why I watched it 3
co-host in
times.
podcast landia.
39.
Ooh,
Whoa.
that's a good
39
crunch count.
I know. That is an awesome crunch count. That is a total of 50 countables.
Wow.
That is 100 ounces or 6.25 pints
Good
in this
God.
12 and a
That's
half
impressive.
minute episode.
Wow. That's
Like
a lot.
Dick's, it was incredibly impressive. Hopefully, Michigan will help Dick's grow bigger.
That's right. I hope
Yeah,
that's my hope.
Yes,
Is that
yes.
Michigan will help dicks grow bigger.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yes.
And what we do here. I
Sure.
really hope that,
Sure.
people, obviously find it,
Someone entertaining.
someone entertaining. But
occasion.
go and seek these chips out, people.
They are right.
And
They-
if you can't find them, tell your places locally to carry them, and then go and order them from the website.
DicksPotatoChips.com. You have, if you can't find them at your local bar, bottle shop, brewery, some of the smaller and not smaller market, like they're at Jungle Gyms, they're at
Party source.
Party Source. But if for some reason you can't get to these
Binsky's.
places, Absolutely, Binsky's. If you can't get to some of these places to buy them on site, DicksPotatoChips.com, they will ship them right to your door.
Yeah.
You buy what, 6 bags and you get free shipping? Something like that? I haven't looked at the
Something of that
website
nature.
for that recently. I don't know if that's changed. It's like $15 or more. It was free shipping, which is... And each bag is more than a serving. Like, it's not like you open these bag of
Right.
chips and you get a handful of chips.
No, it's
this is
a
lot
good
of
size
chips.
bag.
It is the best deal in Dick's that you will find anywhere.
Yep.
Okay.
Multiple choice question time.
Stay tuned.
What was Tone the most concerned about in this episode? Was it A, E. coli? Was it B, putting dicks in his mouth? Or C, making dicks get bigger?
Julia, it was a D.
Hell of a dick.
Is it just stale dicks?
Yeah.
Nobody likes a stale dick.
Nobody likes stale dicks.
No, absolutely not. What's worse, a stale dick or a limp dick?
Well,
Depends on the context.
That's fair. Chips,
Yeah, I
like
agree. I
if
agree.
you picked a chip out of a bag and it just was like every now and then you get one that has too much grease that has sat on it and it just
You know what though?
isn't-
Like, so there are
I
different
don't know
types.
why I'm doing this motion with my
There are-
hands.
yeah,
but,
you're
so
like-
I was gonna do it.
There are different types of
like
chips.
tweezer motions.
This may be a controversial take,
Uh-oh.
but when I go to a restaurant that has their own like Saratoga chips,
Yeah.
I need a limp one in there. I need like one out of every 10.
Because that shows it came
To
from a real
prove
potato.
that it's
Yeah.
homemade.
Yeah, I need
Sure, I
I
get
need
it,
some
I get it.
limpness.
Okay, that's
I
fair,
need something.
that's fair.
So sometimes limp is okay.
All right, that's fair.
Stale, never okay.
That is fair. I
So I'm
agree
gonna
with
say
that
stale.
100%.
Stale is worse.
Places that fry their own chips. If you got a 2-day-old chip or whatever, you know it, and that's not good. You
Yeah,
don't like
no,
the stale
no,
chip.
Not at all.
But,
Not at all.
but limp I can deal with.
But seriously,
We can still
everyone,
play with it.
Not wrong. Not wrong at all. But really, everyone follow Half-Ass Beer Review on YouTube and all the channels that they support and that they promote, such as Banter and Babble and the Seven Dragons, Dungeons and Dragons channel. It's all amazing content. Those guys are absolutely spectacular, and we cannot wait to hang out with them again at some point, hopefully in the near future.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. That's it.
That it?
We've covered all the things that we had to cover. Yeah.
We've done good, Julia.
I think
tired.
I think we have done good. Yeah, a lot of.
It's a lot of things.
A lot of playing with those dicks over there. I mean, it kind of wears you out
I'm
a
used
bit.
to that.
It can.
Do either of you have anything else before we wrap this episode up?
No,
No.
All right.
I got nothing.
All right. Wrapping everything up, as I just said, if you like what we've done,
Wrapping it.
the typical stuff like review, subscribe,
Speaking of
share, you know what to do. Go to truthbeerpod.com. That's where you'll find absolutely everything, including links to how to subscribe to our Patreon channel, where you get almost unedited episodes each and every week. You get them a day early, and the only things I take out are the silences for when we leave the table to get another beer.
And at least 40% of that extra 60% content is good.
True. Very true.
I don't even know if
Ish.
that's accurate.
39%
That's
of
our
that
truth.
extra 60%.
Maybe 39% of the extra content might be good.
That's our
Maybe.
truth.
That's
And
what
we're
I'm
sticking
liking
with
to.
it. Yes. And if you are interested in our other podcast, Cincy Beer Events, it is no more. There just wasn't the following and the kind of interest that we thought it would have. So it's on a hiatus for now. We're trying to find another way to get that information out to you because we think it's incredibly important for people to know what your local breweries and bottle shops and bars are putting on as far as events, because that brings people in, which brings money into these locations, which allows them to keep their doors open day after day after day. When we figure out what we're going to do with that, we'll let you know. So stay tuned.
For sure.
With that being said, Marco and Gnome, what are you
Julia?
guys going to be doing next Tuesday?
Oh, we got some shit going on next Tuesday, but we're going to be here.
yeah.
Get
We're
in the
going to
truck.
be here and do this for
Beers.
sure.
Sounds good.
Support the places you love.
Yes.
Amen. Cheers.